Speaking of favorite things, welcome to the Eureka Center for Spiritual Living. My name's Scott. I'll be your host for the next couple of minutes. And we always start out our service by honoring the land on which we are located. So, the Eureka Center for Spiritual Living acknowledges the land on which we gather is the ancestral territory of the Wiyot peoples. This territory extends to the communities through most of Humboldt County, and we honor the Wiyot peoples today. And a reminder, I know they did it during the meditation, but a reminder again, please silence your cell phones so that they're not going off all during the service. And let's see here, let's start this up by, okay, we did that. We're going to say the top half, and I'm going to revert to old days for the bottom. So on the bottom half, you're just going to turn to somebody and say, "Welcome home, I'm glad you're here." But with enthusiasms. So together we say the top part. We say, "We are a welcoming community where the vibration of love lifts us, the wisdom of the ages inspires us, and the science of mind teaching empowers us." Turn to somebody else and say, "Welcome home. I'm glad you're here." Welcome home. Welcome home. And we've got welcome to September. Wow. It's a very busy month. As always, I'd like to get a couple of notes about what each month stands for. So September is called September because it was the seventh month, September. And then in 451 BC, they added January and February, and it made the ninth month, but they didn't make it November. So we stay in the ninth month. Birth flowers for this month are aster and the morning glory, and the birthstone is sapphire. So there's a little bit of information for you. Several events take place in September. Obviously, Labor Day is coming up. September 11th is Patriot Day. We all know that from honoring the September 11th attacks. What you might not know is September 11th is also Grandparents' Day. And September 11th is also National Hug Your Hound Day. However, not fair to the dogs, the entire month of September is National Happy Cat Month. So I'm sure my... There we go. Childless Women Day. Childless Women Month. Let's see what else is going on. September 13th is Kids Take Over the Kitchen Day.
The next day is Parents Cleanup Day.
September 19th is our International Talk Like a Pirate Day, me mateys. September 21st, now this is appropriate, is annual International Day of Peace. 22nd is the equinox. And September 24th, now this is an interesting one for me, September 24th is National Punctuation Day. So a little side story. I was in the National Speakers. What was that? So National Punctuation Day is a celebration of punctuation. It occurs each year, that date, founded by Jeff Rubin. So here's the thing. I used to do the newsletter for the National Speakers Association, Northern California chapter, in conjunction with Jeff Rubin, who founded the holiday and was the editor. Can you imagine him as your editor? The guy who founded National Punctuation Day. So semicolon, yeah. But he was down to whether it's an N dash or an M dash and all the other stuff that goes with it. So those are the holidays for September. Oh, here some interesting events. September 10th, 1891, the song Tararabundire was registered. September 25th, 1956, the first transatlantic telephone cable went into operation. Here's a good one. September 30th, 1452, the very first book was published in Johann Gutenberg's printing press, which, as we know, was the Bible. And birthdays for the month. Today would have been Freddie Mercury's 78th birthday. September 7th is 1533, Queen Elizabeth. September 15th, 1890, Agatha Christie. September 21st, 1947, Stephen King. September 23rd, 1949, Bruce Springsteen. And September 30th, and then one more, September 30th, 1207. Martin Luther King wasn't born in 1207. No, September 30th, 1207, one of my very favorite mystics, and I saw somebody carrying his book around here, Rumi. Rumi was born. And the final one, and I take particular pride in this because I'm born on September 28th, Confucius' birthday is officially celebrated on September 28th in Taiwan. It's also called Teacher's Day. So there you go. You're now all up to speed with September. What was that? Who? I couldn't hear it.
September birthdays?
Yeah, we'll do that at the end. We'll do our birthday thing. I got it on the list. We'll do our birthday. Okay, we'll do our birthday thing. Put him on the list? Yeah. Okay, we can do that. All right, let's move forward. This is a service. There's no fun here. Just get serious, would you? Our weekly schedule is on the screen. Today is the very, 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 very last day for you to donate to the mural. So we need, I don't know how much more, but the mural chart or the mural, whatever you want to call it, the mini mural is in the other room. Please take as many squares as you can that are left. They're $22 a piece. Richard St. Charles. Did you want to say anything about it? You don't want, the last time. Okay, I'm done talking about it. But today's the last day, and let's raise enough money that we can really pay Lacey, not only for her work, but the bonus of all the additional work that she did. So donate $22 more if you're able to. This coming Saturday is our 40th anniversary potluck. And that will be out. It'll be a big barbecue picnic out on the lawn. The Anna Hamilton Trio, 1/3 of which is here, is going to be performing. Okay. And I think we have a slide that we do need help for it. That's a fancy slide. So, would they see you? You can see the dedication to graphic design and the way everything is laid out.
I didn't want anybody to be distracted.
Right, there you go. Get right to the point. There's no distractions, but we do need help setting up. What was that?
Look at the email she sent out.
Look at it. It's in the email she sent out, yes. Yeah, there is. As a matter of fact, the email did go out the other day. Anna.
And we'd like some extra men to help because there's a stage downstairs and we're going to bring up parts for. And so earlier in the morning, and did you talk to Brian? I don't know.
Unless we get some muscle, that stage is not coming up.
Yeah.
Anna, are you saying women are not strong enough to bring this up?
There we go. Women are not strong enough. Okay. All right.
General neutral on the subject.
We do need help in whatever way possible. If you're not, I will be packing, so I don't know if I'll be here. But if you're not doing something else and you can lend a little bit of time, please be here. Other things going on. I don't know when to put in Edward's comment, so let's just move forward with this. We have become a member. Well, we haven't become a member. We have an event to become a member. That's on September 15th. It'll take place right after this service. You can see all of the information. There is a sign-up sheet if you would like to know more about becoming a member and learning more about our philosophy, of course. Just sign up on the clipboard that's over by the lovely and talented James. Crafternoon, get together and be crafty. Friday, the 20th. Whatever craft you want to do from 1 to 4, just all get together and enjoy your creativity. That'll be here at the center. Also on the, I wrote September 20th. September 22nd is our autumn equinox. Speaking of Stephen King, that looks like a Stephen King image. I'm sure it's not. But it's going to be a potluck dinner and fun at the fire pit at Lori's house. So there is a sign-up sheet also. Thank you, Lori, again, for sponsoring, taking care of this. We also, Edward is starting a men's support group. And I'll read from this what this flyer says: an opportunity for men to come together in fellowship as we work toward the goal of obtaining inner peace within an environment of complete confidentiality and caring. We share thoughts as we invoke and embrace spiritual healing through the power of the universal mind, universal intelligence, and unconditional love. We examine our humanity through the revelation of our masculine vulnerability. It'll be September 14th is the initial meeting from 3 to 4. That's a Saturday. It'll be here. You are not required to be a member. Anybody can participate. Edward, did you wish to add anything to that?
Yeah, only if everyone knows someone, that they don't have to be inside. If you know someone, you have teenage male children or what have you that need someone to talk to. Because we've all been kind of like socialized into holding in things.
Okay. So if you know somebody who would like to be more expressive about how they feel and to have some camaraderie, and they happen to be male, they are welcome to this club, to this organization.
Talk about things that we don't talk about when. Well, it's football. It's going to be in person. It's going to be in person here, so that we can protect confidentiality.
Okay, so it'll be in person here to protect I'm repeating that for the Zoomers. So they
We
can.
cannot share outside of this. We cannot talk.
What happens in the men's group stays in the men's group. Okay. Let's move forward. The 100-day, oops. There's a
Oh, no, it's on the
14th. And there are little flyers over on the table, so if anybody wants to pick up a flyer. The Louisville Center for Spiritual Living, where I've spoken many times via Zoom, they have a men's group, and I've been part of it for a while. And there's 5 of us, and it's just a friendship thing, but it's fun. We got somebody in Texas, we got somebody obviously in Louisville, somebody in Idaho, we got somebody here in Eureka. That would be me. Yes, Judy. Judy has.
Isn't the Course in Miracles starting on Thursday night? Well, we started it last week, and we're gonna move it to 5:30 because some people have requested that we not start at 5.
So the conversation that's going on in the background is the Course of Miracles started, a course in the Course of Miracles started last Thursday and will be continuing, but it's moving till 5:30.
In person.
In person. It's an in-person group. Okay.
Don't they have like AM classes or something?
Thursdays.
Yeah, but they're in here.
Oh, it'll be in the other room then?
Yeah.
Yeah.
We have a lot going on. Speaking of a lot going on, 100 Days of Mindful Practice. If you would like to receive a voicemail every morning or an automated phone call that talks about gearing up for the election, there's you can text JOIN to that number down at the bottom, 470-784-0250, and you will be added to 64 days. I can't believe it's moving that quickly. Let's see here. And I think, okay, we got the bookstore. Any ECSL author, it's $3 off. I'm glad you didn't clear that with us. But for any of us who have written any sort of book, and it's in the bookstore, and there are several of us, you can buy one of our books for $3 off. Mine is a book of thoughts. Reverend Angelica's book is much more detailed to it, and her book is $2 off, and there's other authors, and there's a sign posted on the bookstore so you can see who the local authors are. Better Together. Do you have an idea for an event? If you do, let's do it better together. Rose is coordinating that. I don't think I see Rose here yet, but her contact information is on the screen. I'm assuming come November, I'll have an event for you all when the play opens. But let's move forward. Little pantry needs to be fed. Ramen, not ramen, don't know. Just bring stuff that's non-perishable so we can feed it to the rest of the community. Preferably things in pop-top pans, pop-top containers. We could use more baby food. Okay. All right, and let's move forward into this month. Our theme this month is possibilities. And I'll be honest, I designed this whole slide once I found that I found that whale. I just loved that little whale. I just loved that whale, and so I built a whole theme around that whale. He just, to me, exemplified the possibility of you can do anything. Like, yeah. The possibilities are endless. He believes he can fly, and off he goes. Yeah. So his possibilities have been reached. All right, speaking of possibilities, it's possible that Michele will come up here now and will do for us the moment of peace, and then we will turn it over to Reverend Angelica.
Please silence your phones.
Your book is back there.
I knew that.
Okay, confusing up here. All right, to start our service, we have our short meditation, and I have a quick reading from A Course in Miracles, and then we'll have a couple moments of silence, and Jackson will play us into the meat of the service. So if you just allow yourself to just take a couple of deep healing breaths. Center yourself in this room at this time. When a mind has only light, it knows only light. Its own darkness is diminished. Radiance shines all around it and extends out into the darkness of other minds, transforming them into majesty. And I am so blessed. We are all so blessed to be here today in this room together, just allowing Spirit to flow through each and every one of us and out into our world. And I know today, as we hear the words of Reverend Angelica, that they will be the right and perfect words that we need to hear, and that the beautiful energy of love, of light, and peace surround us with each step that we take and each conversation that we have today. And I know that this service will unfold in its right and perfect way, and so it is.
so blessed, I am so blessed, I am so grateful, I am so
All right, and now I ask to come up to the podium Reverend Angelica.
Good morning, everyone. And good morning, Zoomers. It's good to be here this morning. I love this idea that we've picked for our theme this month, the possibilities. It's, when you think about it, the possibilities are endless. And yet sometimes we don't think that they are. We feel stuck in wherever we might be at the time. And we forget that all we have to do, as Dr. Holmes says, is change our thinking and we can change our lives. Actually, Dr. Holmes writes, when we learn to trust the universe, we shall be happy, prosperous, and well. And I thought about this a lot. I'm using a lot of his quotes this morning. I thought about this one a lot because this idea of trusting the universe is sort of foreign to us. We're taught as little children not to trust anything. We're taught, the word that we seem to hear the most as little children is no. No, you can't do that. No, don't eat that. No, don't talk to them. No, don't play with that, whatever. And that brings us to a place, or starts us out with a place where we can't trust. And so this idea of trusting in the infinite potential of the universe is new, and we have to adopt it now or somewhere along our timeline. And this trusting in the infinite potential of the universe allows us to realize all the possibilities that are available to us all the time. And so this idea then of possibility thinking requires a conscious shift in our mindset. It requires us not to think anymore about limitations or obstacles or fears. Fears is the big one. A lot of things I've noticed as I've been going through this book that the book group is doing called When Fear Speaks, Listen by Dr. Dennis Merritt Jones, is all the different attributes or descendants, he calls them, of fear, like anger and resentment and various different things. But those keep us from seeing our opportunities and our potential. So the shift, and I want to mention this, that the shift is not about denying what we're going through, but it's about realizing that we don't have to be stuck there. We don't have to stay there. That indeed, perhaps the universe is giving us something greater to experience. And what I've noticed in my life many times is that I have, everything seems to get real chaotic and real confusing just before a big breakthrough. And suddenly it's like, oh wow, now why did I think like that? This is now occurring. And I think one of the things that I've thought about a lot, and there's a statement in the Bible that says, with God all things are possible. And I wonder how many of us really believe that. There's something going on in home office right now that I never talk about home office because, I'm used to being autonomous or whatever you might say. But the interesting thing is that I was on a connections call the other day with Home Office, and they have decided to close the Homes Institute, which is part of the teaching section of our organization. Now, immediately, all 217 people who were on this call, which is the most who's ever been on a connections call, got kind of weird. I could just feel the energy shifting, like, everybody would interfere. What are we going to do, you know? Well, I discovered that the Holmes Institute, what they were calling the Holmes Institute, is the section that they developed a few years ago to be able to offer master's degrees and PhDs. That's the part that they're closing. What everybody was afraid of was that there would no longer be any study for ministers. No more movements up through the ranks for ministers. And this idea that what I saw in this call was, and even in many emails afterwards, was that idea of limitation. First of all, everybody thought, well, they shouldn't have done it that way. They should have told us this was going to happen, et cetera, et cetera. I mean, there was all kinds of comments about how it was brought out and everything, and everybody was totally flipped out. And I'm thinking, oh, well, doesn't bother me any. But nor do I have any students that it's going to bother right now. And so the people that are studying or have students, that's who was really feeling this sense of limitation. The other thing that they've done, that Home Office has done, is they have gone totally virtual. They're letting go of the building that they had in Colorado, and everybody is now working from their homes. And I found that an interesting thing was that the staff, who is now having to use their own computer and their own internet, et cetera, also got a 10% cut in pay. Which then goes to the question of, where's the money going? Yeah, where's the money going? Well, it's being done, it's being used the way it should be used, and there have been, decisions made that weren't necessarily good decisions. I mean, who in here has ever made a decision that wasn't good financially? Everybody, right? So, I mean, this is not appropriate to say at church, but shit happens. Now, what I wanted to ask everybody was, are you going to stay stuck in this shouldn't be this way, why didn't they do this, why didn't they do that? Isn't that what we do? We get involved in something that doesn't work out. Well, why did they say that? Why didn't they do this? Why didn't they do that? And it's always, why didn't they? And we have to remember that absolutely everything is being created within us. Absolutely everything. So as a collective, the ministers and the people that are, and practitioners, et cetera, have fallen into this limitation of, oh, there's not enough money to do things, and so everything's going to go to hell in a handbasket, and what's going to happen to Home Office, et cetera. And for me, I'm still, oh, well, we would continue on. All the various churches would continue on, whether there was a Home Office or not. See, I come from Religious Science International. This was before the split, before the joining together, rather, when United Churches of Religious Science and Religious Science International joined together and became Centers for Spiritual Living, which I thought was a really good idea. But in Religious Science International, we taught ministers through our churches. I have 4 ministers out in the field that I taught from first year. We called them Science Mind 100, 200, 300, 400, and by the time you're finished with 400, which is a 2-year course, then you go and you get interviewed by the bigwigs, and they decide whether you're eligible to be a minister or not. I thought, when I first heard about the fact that Holmes Institute was closing and thought that it was about the ministry, I thought, oh boy, maybe we'll go back to doing it like Religious Science International did. That'd be good. But that's not what happened, because that's not what was happening. But the interesting thing was I built up a story around it, right? And I did have a little bit of possibility thinking in there, but not enough. So again, we want to remember that with God or with the divine or with Gus, that's who my prayer partner, Sydney, Reverend Sydney, you remember her with the magic shoes and the great voice. She's now the head minister in North Hollywood, and she and I came up, well, actually, she came up with the name for God, Gus, which is Great Universal Spirit. And I thought, oh, that's a good one. And it takes all the onus off the word God for those of you who don't like the word God. But I still like that because it works. So when I was thinking about this idea about with God all things are possible and the power of possibility thinking, I started thinking about various affirmations I have used personally as I've been moving along my spiritual path. And so one of them is, I am open to the infinite possibilities that surround me. What if you really started embodying that idea of being open to the infinite possibilities that surround you? And as you embodied them, you realized that, again, I always have to go back to, what do I think God is? What do I think this energy is? And for me, this energy, this divine energy that, as I say almost every week, makes up absolutely everything. There's nothing that is not divine energy. It's infinite intelligence and unconditional love. That's what it is. And so I'm open to that infinite intelligence and unconditional love. As I say this affirmation, I am open to the infinite possibilities that surround me. However, I have one that I like even better, my favorite one. And this affirmation is, divine mind now assists me in attaining and maintaining the consciousness of, and then I fill in the blank. If I'm feeling that I want to be more healthy, divine mind now assists me in attaining and maintaining the consciousness of health, or wealth, or love, or peace, or whatever it might be. And you know, as we say these affirmations, and we allow ourselves to move into a space of believing in them, believing, once again, that our word has power, then the saying, for me, the saying of the affirmation moves me out of the story that I've made up into the possibility of a new story to make up. And so the new story that I want to make up, for instance, might be about experiencing more joy in my life, to laugh more, to be present more to the present moment. Because when I'm in limitation, when I'm in limited thinking, where am I? In the past. What's based on whatever happened before. Of course, I bring that limitation into the present by constantly thinking about it, making it my present experience. And that's not what we want to do. So the other thing I like doing in this idea of the power of possibility thinking is practice visualizing what I think might be good. This is where visualization is where you visualize something as if it's already done, as if it's already achieved. So if you want more health, for instance, maybe you might see yourself moving about the world in free and easy in your body. I had a very strange experience just a few days ago. The sky was clear at night. I couldn't believe it. I mean, older brother gave me a beautiful telescope because I like looking at the stars. And that was a few years ago. I've used it maybe once or twice. I finally sent it to my godson up in Washington so that they could use it because I never got to use it. Well, I was sort of sad that I had gotten rid of it the other night. But I'm standing there with my head back, sort of leaning on my car, going, oh, wow, look at that star. Oh, wow, look at that star. Look at that star. And my neck was bent for a while. And as I straightened up to go in the house, back into the house, my neck started feeling kind of weird, and I felt kind of wobbly. And I still feel a little bit wobbly sometimes, but so this is just a few days ago. But it was so strange to be off balance like that. And I'm thinking, now, what did I do to create this? And I still don't know what I did to create it, except I stood there too long with my neck back. And so what I started to do, especially since I had already figured out what I wanted to talk about this week, was I started to visualize myself walking with better posture, because I don't have good posture, I know that. Walking with better posture, walking balanced, feeling good about everything. And every morning that I got up in the last 3 or 4 days, whatever it's been since that beautiful clear night sky, I have felt better and better. And I know I want to be at the point where I can visualize something and have it happen like that. But I'm grateful that I noticed every little piece of improvement, because I know that our minds are powerful, our words are powerful, our thoughts and feelings are powerful. Everything is created out of these thoughts and feelings. I still haven't figured out why I created that, except maybe to give myself an experience of looking at possibilities and being full of faith and full of trust. What I know is that faith helps us believe in outcomes we cannot yet see, while trust allows us to surrender control and remain open to whatever unfolds. And lots of different things have unfolded. I mean, I went to the fair Friday with Jane Haskins, who used to be my chiropractor. And of course, she told me some things that I could do to make my neck feel better. And said, well, and the funny thing was that she retired last year, so for 9 years, I went once a month to a chiropractor. All this year, I have not done that at all because I don't know who to go to. And I keep asking her, well, who do you think is the best chiropractor? And she keeps saying, you'll have to find one yourself. Anyway, one of the things that we're working with here then, as Holmes has a whole chapter on this in the textbook, is the law of attraction. Remember how popular that was a few years ago, the law of attraction? There was movies and books and everything about it. Well, you know, essentially Holmes says that the law of attraction is the law of mind in action. So he believed that our thoughts, our beliefs, and our emotions create a vibrational frequency that attracts similar frequencies into our lives. I think if he was still alive today, he would love quantum physics. Absolutely love it. In fact, there's a story about Dr. Holmes that I think it was Reginald Armour, who was living with him for a while after Dr. Holmes' wife died. And one day, Reginald, it might not be Reginald either, I might be giving the wrong name, but this man walks up to the door to come home and as soon as he gets to the front door, Dr. Holmes opens the door and says, tell me where I treated in this house. I treated this afternoon. I want you to find it and tell me where it was. Because he believed that treatment sets up an energy field. And this energy or frequency attracts similar frequencies into our lives. So when you're sitting down there, or when we were doing the chant with Lori this morning at the pre-service meditation, I could feel the energy that she was talking about going through my various chakras. And normally, I just feel it through my palms. So it was really interesting to feel it in different places. Oh, and I felt it, of course, in the top of my head as my crown chakra opened. But so if I can feel that energy, then I'm opening to the energy that's absolutely everywhere present. Absolutely everywhere present. And if I want to focus on it being positive, it will be positive. If I want to focus on it being negative, guess what? It will be negative. So our job is to pay attention to what we're feeling, what we're thinking, what we're allowing ourselves to believe. Because, as Dr. Holmes says, thoughts are things. They have tremendous power. Thoughts are things. They have tremendous power. He emphasized that our thoughts are creative forces. So when we think about something consistently, we begin to attract it into our reality. So listen to your mind talk. In fact, I've told you this before. Set a part of your mind aside and ask it to be the watchdog, so to speak, to be the gatekeeper, that when you start going down a road of negative thinking, have something funny happen. That's what I say. That's what my directions are. I want to hear where I need to change things gently, easily, and humorously. And something funny will happen. And it's great fun. So when we think about negativity, we bring that in. When we think about positivity, we bring that in. And so the possibilities in both areas are endless. We're living in a space and a dimension of infinite possibilities. You can do anything that you want to do if you believe you can do it. Dr. Holmes also says life is a mirror and will reflect back to the thinker what they think into it. So what are you thinking into this mirror out here? So some of you might have seen on my Facebook page that I have a new cat. This is number 3. I've fostered cats. Remember, I used to foster Bengals. And this one is a Tonkinese. I thought it was a snowshoe Siamese, but then the young man that used to own him sent me all the medical papers, the vet papers, and it's listed as a Tonkinese. And I thought, wow, I've never had one of those before. Sweetest cat, 9-year-old male. A great cat. But the interesting thing is that, so I was originally supposed to foster him while this young man was in college. But then he decided not to go to Cal Poly here. He's going to go to Cal Poly down south, and he can't find any place where he could have his cat. So I said, well, I'll foster him, until the semester's over, until whatever happens. And he said, no, I think I need to give him up. But that was said. I'm sitting in this living room talking to the lady that's been fostering him and the young man, and they're telling me about how he's really aloof, about how he is, might have a hard time with him and my other cats because, he'll fight, et cetera, et cetera. And as they're talking to me about the negative things about this cat, this beautiful cat walks down the hall. I turn in my chair because I see it out of the corner of my eye. He comes down the hall. He jumps on my lap. he curls up and starts purring. Now, I believe I'm an animal person, in particular a cat person. I can get along with just about any animal. I mean, whether it's a reptile or a cat, a dog, a horse, a cow, whatever. I've had experience with all kinds of animals, and it's always been a good experience. And that cat got up and laid down on my lap and started purring. I thought, oh shit, I've got another cat. And so obviously I said yes. And he's the oldest cat in my household and hasn't really caused that much trouble at all. There's been some hissing, and one point where he ran up against Curly, who's only 3, every hair on that Tonkinese cat went psh, and he became a lot bigger. And I could hear the Siamese meow, very loud. So anyway, life is a mirror and is going to reflect back to us whatever it is that we're predominantly thinking and feeling. So we want to pay attention. So again, Dr. Holmes says, change your thinking and change your life. So by changing our thinking, we can change our reality. By focusing on positive outcomes, we can create positive outcomes. Dr. Holmes saw the mind as a powerful tool for shaping our reality, and he believed that by aligning our thoughts with the highest good, we would attract and create the life that we desire. And there's one last quote that I want to share with you. Dr. Holmes says, the universe is impersonal. It gives alike to all. It is no respecter of persons. It values each alike. And this means that everyone has infinite possibilities. Everyone. No matter what we think of them or what we've judged them or anything, every single person has infinite possibilities. I think that some people need to be taught that this is true, but there's a judgment, of course. But the universe doesn't go, oh, you've been really good, you could have some more of this or that. Or you've been really bad, you don't get any of that. The universe just says, what are you thinking? Oh, okay, I'll give you some more of that. So we have to pay attention. Holmes definitely believed in the boundless natures of the universe and the power of our thoughts, feelings, and beliefs in creating our reality. And this is what I want you to do too. I want you to really believe this. The quote that I'm ending with is, there is a power for good in the universe and you can use it. And I want to scratch out that you can use it and put, there's a power in the universe that you're using. Because you're using it all the time. You cannot get away from it. And so let's let the infinite possibilities begin. Let's go into treatment. How grateful I am to be reminded of how powerful this teaching is. How grateful I am to be involved in this thing called the science of mind. Because I know that this teaching is so powerful, and yet it fits everyone. It works according to our belief in it. And so I choose right now to declare for each one of us, I am powerful. I know the power of my word. And I choose right now to let my mind remind me gently, easily, and humorously when I'm going into negativity. And I let go. And I let the universe do its greatest work for me. I declare for all of us that we are experiencing health. Regardless of the news saying, here's this new virus coming, here's this virus coming, here's that disease coming, I know we can let that go and be healthy regardless of all of that chatter. I know for each one of us that we are living in abundance. We're either living in abundance of money or food or whatever it is we might desire, or we're living in abundance of nothing. And so I know for each one of us that we are abundant. I declare for all of us, I am living an abundant life. And I'm grateful for this. I know for each one of us that we're living a creative life. We can't help but create because that's what the universe does, and it's doing it in, through, and as us all the time. So I know for each one of us that we create positive experiences around us. And I say for each one of us, I am creating a positive life of infinite possibilities, and it's good. And I know for each one of us that we are living in a life that includes relationships, no matter what kind of relationships they are. I know that the truth of it is that the universe is unconditionally loving. And so we get to experience that through all sorts of relationships. And so I know for each one of us, I say for each one of us, I am living in infinite love. And it feels good. And so I celebrate all these infinite possibilities as we step into this month of possibilities. And I know for each one of us that we take these ideas and we allow ourselves to use them, knowing, remembering that we are creating a good life, that we are creating a life worth living, that we are creating a life worth celebrating. And so we do so with an awareness that it's not the I of me that is creating it, it's the I of the divine that is creating it in, through, and as us. And we let it work through us in wonderful ways. So I give thanks for these things. I know that they are already so. I know that it's easy for us to adopt this belief system because we can see it at work. And how grateful I am for all of us. And so it is. Take a breath, and let's say our affirmation together. And Karen Blakely is giving us the affirmations this month, so we're grateful for her. So, are we ready? I am a divine spark, living in and fully supported by the infinite in all ways and always. I claim my divine inheritance and live from this truth here and now. And so it is. And Edward is our musician today, so let's give him a hand.
Okay, equipment work.
It will.
Thank you. Okay, hopefully this will work.
We trust.
In spirit we trust. Okay. That's not what I want to do. Stop.
Yell at it, that'll work.
Yeah.
I like it.
think that'll work. All right. Hi. I'm a little bit nervous about this performance because, as a rule, I don't play original material. I write songs for other people, I pass it on, and, let them perform it or arrange it or what have you. But this particular song is kind of near and dear to my heart, and I played it for my wife a few weeks back, and she says, if you don't play that, you don't come home and eat. So, so I have no choice. I had 2 days to make it an instrumental because it's a vocal. But I wrote the song for my daughter when she was born in 1999. At least I started on it. And I was pulled away because I was doing a radio show on KSOL back in those days, and I had other obligations going on. So it sat on a shelf until 2002 when my son was born. And when he was born, I remembered it and kind of finished it up. Now, for those who've been at my house, I have like an orchestra worth of instruments there. So what I do is I'll sit down and I get an idea, I'll develop it, I'll record it, I'll orchestrate it and make a disc or whatever, and then pass it on to someone else. Well, I'm not doing that today. I'm actually going to try to perform one of my songs. You guys will be the first to hear it. This particular song, when I was on the radio, I met a guy from Curway Records who had a friend that was making a movie called Secrets You Don't Tell in Hollywood. And they were petitioning Shamar Moore, who was a popular actor of the time, to be the lead, and his friend was going to be the female lead. So he asked me to write a couple of songs for the movie. Well, to my horror, I found out that I was writing the title theme and one other song to go in it. So we did the title theme, we recorded it professionally, and then this song, I had my little concept disc that I put together where I was playing all the instruments and everything. But I didn't have time to record it, so I had to submit that. And he said it was a little too preachy, too slow. So in the process of me rearranging the thing and making it a little bit more lively, they canceled the movie because Shamar backed out. So it sat on my shelf from about 2006 until a couple of weeks ago. But anyway, I thought I would read the lyrics to you and try to play because we are a science of mind, so I will play the song. Okay, so the lyrics are, it's called My Precious Child. It says, come in, sit down, and let's talk a while, the way we used to do. You're at the age where you question things, so some I'd like to explain to you. We would all like to be the perfect mom and dad, but there's no guy that we know except the one that comes from loving you. So listen when I say these things. Brush your teeth before you go to bed. Not too much TV, you ought to read a good book instead. I know the things I say won't bring a smile, but just know that I'll always be here when you need me too, my precious child. Someday, I get choked up still. Someday, God's will, you'll have a family. Then you'll do as we do now. Your children's needs will take priority, and you'll get through mistakes somehow. You'll say a prayer that you have raised these kids to be righteous, but there'll be fear constantly that the streets outside will take your kids away. So please hear me when I say to you, choose friends wise, or they will drag you down. Booze and drugs by a 6x6 hole in the ground. Don't follow the crowd. Never let that be your style. And know, I'll always be here sending love to you, my precious child. Now, the hard part. Getting my equipment to work. Let's see if it'll do this for me. Oh, you can dance if you want. Oh, thanks. Yeah, 2 days is not enough. All right, but thanks.
I was just mentioning to Edward, that might be one of the best pieces I've seen him perform, and he's done a lot. You need to do your own music more often. That was lovely. All right, as we get to the final parts of our service here today, we're going to share our gifts. So the plate will be passed along. Whatever you can put in it, please do. Always add love, and definitely whatever you put in with intention and with the reality that you are increasing your possibilities by the more you can possibly imagine. Together we say, I gratefully give from the fullness of my abundance, knowing my gift blesses this center, all in it and beyond, and so it is. Donna was very eager to get up here. We are grateful for the knowledge that everything that comes to us is because of the thoughts that we have put into the universal law of mind, and knowing that these gifts, these donations, are a reflection of what it is that we have imagined. And we are so grateful for all that comes here, knowing that as it leaves this room, as it goes out into the community, all the possibilities that it brings with it, all the good that it will do, all the changes that it will bring that will benefit all touched, including not only our center, but this community, the state, the world, and beyond. And for that, we are grateful, and we release these words into the law of mind, saying, and so it is. Thank you. All right, this is, before we get to our community statement of inclusion, a couple of last comments here. I'm going to be gone for the next several weeks, so we'll need someone to please count the number of people who are here, and then Bree will tell you how many people are on Zoom. That's how we keep track of that. My wife and I are celebrating my 70th, and we've never been to Europe. We're going to be on a cruise, the British Isles. Yeah. By the way, a little cruise tip we found out by watching videos: if before you make your final payment, when you go to make your final payment, you ask them if they have lowered their rates, because they won't volunteer this. Many times they have. And we went to the travel agent when she was making our final payment for us. We said, can you ask them if they'll lower their rates? She said, oh, yeah, right, okay. And so she asked them, and they cut $1,400 off the price. Yeah. So ask. I thought maybe they'll, we'll save you $100. But it was like, wow, that's amazing. Okay, this is the first Sunday of the month, so we have got potluck in the other room. No, we don't. We don't have a potluck in the other room. I am lying. Disregard. There's some goodies in the other room, but we have a potluck this coming Saturday. So if you can make it this Saturday, forget what I said. I lie extensively. I am not lying, however, when I say the practitioners at the end of every Sunday are always here to support you if you need to meet with us. We call it a 5-minute miracle, but there's no time limit. Today the practitioners are myself, Edward, Susan, Michele, Claudia is here. Claudia, are you meeting with people if they want to meet with you? Yes, no, maybe? Okay. You'll find out if you talk to Claudia. I could be lying about that also. It is also our birthday Sunday. So if you have a birthday in September, please stand, and I'm already standing. I know there's a lot of birthdays in September, so we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And together we'll sing Off Key But With Love. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to us. Happy birthday, dear all of us. Happy birthday to us. And one final comment. Angelica was talking about possibilities and how you get what it is that you imagine. It reminded me of just a quick funny story. This last weekend was my 24th anniversary with my wife. It happened to be hers too. We met at the Eureka Church of Religious Science when she had gone to the minister and said, I'm ready to be in a relationship. And that same week I had told my therapist, who was also a religious science devotee, that I'm ready to be in a relationship. We met that week. But what I didn't know, what I had forgotten about is when I introduced Marianne to my sons, who were both young at that time, I waited until I felt this was going to be a thing. I didn't want to introduce them, and then it fell apart. And so Marianne, myself, and my two young sons, went for a walk one day, and we had joint custody, myself and my ex. So they went home to my ex, and they said, Dad's got a girlfriend, which I figured they would do. I wasn't doing it for that reason, but I didn't keep secrets from them. So she said, what's his name? What's her name? And my son said, oh, her name is Marianne. And Joan, my ex, said, no, he's just lying to you. He said, no, it's Marianne. No, he's just lying to you. He's joking. And they said, no, we met her. It's Marianne. And what I had forgotten about is in my first marriage, my wife and I had a playful teasing routine. And when I would get upset with my wife, jokingly, I would say, if you don't behave, I'm going to go hang out with my other girlfriend. And she said, what's her name? And I said, Mary Ann. I had totally forgotten that. So I don't know whether it's appropriate or not to be manifesting your second marriage during your first marriage. But it was just, oh my goodness gracious. All right, do we have somebody who will read the community statement of inclusion? Then Donna will close us out with the peace song. Community statement of inclusion is on screen, but it's also here. Give it a shot. You can do it. Walk in awe. Would you come on up, please? Life is great, and it's yours.
Our statement of inclusion. We, the Center, Eureka Center for Spiritual Living, are a community that celebrates diversity, fosters inclusion, champions inner work, and creates a space for brave, vulnerable conversations. We are a community that honors the unique emanation of God that each person embodies and advocate with people for human rights and dignity for all. We are a community that blesses each other, sees sacredness in all life, and remains learners and listeners so that we may grow together and understand that oneness is not sameness. So together, we know our beloved community is revealed more fully when we love each other well.
Everybody get up and get in the circle.
Pay no attention to the man in the white pants. And we are ready. Yes, there is peace